Greetings, sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. This is Body Culinary, and happy blessed Sunday. Today, we're going to have a little chit chat about why nappy hair is such a blessing and a protection, and also how going makeup free can save your life. Right? That's what we're going to be chatting about today. So, if you're interested in this conversation, please feel free to tune in. If you like the kind of content that I share on this channel, which, if you're new and you're not aware, I'm Body Culinary, professional chef, personal trainer, over 35 years in the business. Some people say going on 40. But yeah, it's been a while. And on this channel, I share some of my journey of radical self acceptance. And what that looks like for me is being really creative and celebrating the hair and skin that I have been divinely assigned while here in my suit. Now, let me say, I'm not anti makeup, yet I am for being at ease and feeling comfortable in my own hair and skin. I really feel passionately that we deserve to feel comfortable in our own hair and skin. Just as we popped out light skin, albino, acne, slanted eyes, pale skin, whatever your packaging, in your 30s, your 40s with wrinkles and so on. We deserve to feel comfortable in our own skin. I'll let you in on a little secret. The only one that has a vested interest in you really being comfortable in your own hair and skin is you in the mirror. So I share some of my journey of radical self-acceptance. For me, that's a part of that has been a return to natural, which has been over 30 something years. Locks is just another chapter in that journey. What I also share on this channel are 3 leverage lifestyle practices. I call them leverage because they're an investment for my young flowers out there, my young folks. An investment means you're getting back more than what you invested. That's how you know something is valuable, right? I love to organize things in the brain in a very easy way when it comes to fitness, fat loss, health, changing habits. Because if we don't have it organized in a way that is efficient and effective, we likely will not be able to reach our goals or have sustainable goals or results, right? So organizing it can help you get really, really clear. Clarity is worth its weight in gold. So the 3 leverage lifestyle practices, what are they? They are peaceful consumption, food that demonstrates that it loves you back, a daily personal movement practice, and garden/nature therapy. These are lifestyle practices that you actually have access to. You don't need to be a celebrity. You don't need to be in a corporate, Fortune 500 company. You can be single, you can have children or not. These are lifestyle practices, things that you can enact from wherever you are in your personal development journey. Beginner, you've been on a path of developing yourself, improving yourself for years. You're just looking to see other levels of development. So these are things you can act. If you got $5 in the bank, if you got an EBT card, right? If you're married in a relationship, but you're married, single, whatever. These are things that you can do to really make yourself feel better, to administer deep therapy to yourself. If you have enough space for an exercise mat, you have enough space to administer some deep therapy to yourself. So peaceful consumption, right? You can call yourself whatever label you want. It's really about the results, right? Sometimes we can have a tendency to ego trip off of the label. Peaceful consumption, garden/nature therapy. That could be at a community garden, in your windowsill, a couple of pots, and a daily personal movement practice. No gym necessary. See how easy that is? So that's what I share on this channel. So feel free to like, comment respectfully, because I prioritize healthy boundaries and respectful communications, even if it's on the internet, and perhaps share this channel with someone that could benefit. I invite you to, perhaps while you're decluttering, important lifestyle practice, or in the garden, perhaps replay this video to give yourself some support. Many folks that are trying to make changes often don't have support, right? In eating healthy, you can get an amen for all kinds of drama, but it's not often people will wake up and accompany you on the 5 a.m. workout or going for a walk, or instead of having mocha loca lattes and stuffing ourselves with donuts and junk food, how about let's go to a movement practice, let's go to a class, let's whip out our budget books and talk about investing. What kinds of people do you have in your circle of influence? Is it all just about entertainment? And if it's all about entertainment, that's not bad or wrong. That's your personal choice. Your life, my life. It's your responsibility. There may have been things that have happened to you. Can't control that. But wherever you are in life, your life currently is your responsibility more than your spouse, your children, the government, Obama, Jesus. Your life is your responsibility. So let's get into this conversation. Get your water or your tea or your non alcoholic beverage or whatever floats your boat. Today we're having ginger tea. Right, so I have the ginger tea concentrate. I think I'm going to drink out of one of my favorite cups that one of my clients gave me. I love this cup. Right, and I have some nice hot ginger tea with some Jamaican lime. And it's super concentrated and hot, just like I like it. When I say heat, not just the temperature, but also the concentration of the ginger, which is fantastic for your metabolism, if you have gas, if you're somebody that's eating whole, fresh, living foods, right? If you're eating a lot of uncooked foods and you have issues with your body temperature, I know my body temperature can run cold, then spices like ginger can really help your body get nice and hot. So get your ginger, right? We also have Jamaican lime. I squeeze this one. Looks like it's orange in the center, but it's actually a lime and has lots of seeds. So you paying attention to what you're putting in your body. Let's get a sip of our spicy ginger tea. And let's get into this combo because we have classes today. Oh, also while I'm here, one of my favorite things to do is to prepare elixirs from the garden. So I prepared, one of my favorite things is nopales. In the garden currently, we have nopales. We have our lavenders coming back. It took a little deep dive, but the lavender is on its way back. We have plenty of aloe, which I started from a little teeny piece. We have hundreds of aloe, loads of nopales. So I don't have to go to the pharmacy. I can go right out in the yard and I can pick that. And easy to make. So I'm going to do that because if we're online, are you getting something back for the investment of your time? So I like to engage in something so I can make sure I'm not, or that I am getting good use of my time. So here's some nopales that we just picked out of the yard. Right? And sometimes nopales can have a very spiky, like splinters, which those really hurt. So you want to pay attention to the type of nopales. I also found when I grow nopales in different areas of the yard, let's say, for example, I can sprout nopales also out of a stone or some really big kind of rocky boulders, that I find that when the terrain starts to change, that's when I start to get the splinters inside that are really spiky, that hurt like a cactus, right? This is a type of cactus. So the garden is so interesting. The garden to me is the ultimate church. If you want common sense and help with your discernment and decision making, nurture some plants, which is why that is one of the 3 pillars. So I have like 5 pieces of nopales left. We don't want to waste anything. If it's super bumpy, you can take a knife and you can scrape the top. I have all kinds of fancy doodads, but my favorite is using actually the box grater, Grandma Lou style. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to give you another rinse. We're just going to trim the sides. This is not too spiky. I have these fancy knives, but a lot of times I always go back to the Grandma Lou type knives. And I got all these expensive knives here. So, and we also have some aloe here. We have loads of herbs. We have the cumin oregano here that we picked out of the yard. So a lot of times I will munch on these and make tea out of them. So we're going to get into our combo. But let's get 2 for 1. So I'm just going to trim off the bottom of the nopales. And I don't know if you can see it. You can start to see a little bit of the mucilage here. Right? Really, really love nopales. One of my favorites. So some people, you can actually trim all the whole sides. These look like Mickey Mouse ears. So you can trim the bottom, you can scrape it if you want. Some people blend it, but I do see a difference when I use different types of modalities to prepare different foods. So, my grandmother, her food tasted better when she did things by hand. Some people may think they don't have the time, but sometimes you're rushing. Quite often, the pace of life that we're rushing through the process and certain things are left out. So I'm just these are going to go into the compost. And I always have different things. This is what I'm keeping my compost in. This bottom is for citrus. And this is for my regular stuff, and also onions, because the citrus, the worms, and we want worms inside the garden, right? Our worms don't like the citrus. The oils are too strong for them. Right, so let's get the box grater. Handy dandy box grater. That doesn't really cost you much of anything. So we're going to use a regular, everybody talks about bust down weeds. We got a bust down grater. Maybe we'll use a bigger bowl. All right. So we can't chat unless, you know, you got to pretend you're coming over to my house and spending time with me in my kitchen. Like you spend time in your auntie's kitchen or your grandma's kitchen. I ain't your grandma yet, but official auntie. Yeah, so come spend time, right? And that's what I like to do. When people ask me for recipes and so on, I can give recipes. But sometimes it's not clicking because you don't spend time, the nuances, the wisdom. You can accrue a lot of information on the internet. Information, though, doesn't necessarily equate with wisdom, years of life experience. And a lot of information in the hands of the uninformed or the ignorant can be actually very, very dangerous. Oh, Alex Lima, bom dia. Okay, greetings from Brazil. Sunny, I think you've been jumping on in the morning for the 5 a.m. workout warm-up. So I'm just going to take, see, we're not doing fancy dancy cameras, but I'm just going to angle this, and we're just going to grate the nopales. So you can find nopales inside of an international market or wherever there's, hey, Alex, do you play capoeira? Are you capoeirista? Yes, muito obrigado. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, are you capoeirista? Because I love me some capoeira, honey. On Fridays, I usually do African dance and capoeira. This Friday, we did something a little bit different. I just woke up in the mood to do what I used to do on this channel, which is the early day, quote unquote, meditation or just deep relaxation and breathing. Right? So I'm just going to grate the fresh nopales. I feel like the texture comes out a lot better. All right, so we're not on this channel just to complain. We got stuff to do. The garden takes time, right? This is, to me, how I like to spend my time. This is actually joyous activity. It feels good. But some people, this might be boring, and that's okay. Because in this day and age, we're addicted to a lot of drama, and I don't think it's really serving us. It's not serving us. Yeah, my Portuguese is not that great. You know, I got my little counting from capoeira, a little bit from doing jingas. So this year, hopefully, I get better in my my Portuguese. So we're gonna. This is inexpensive. It's no toxins in it, right? So this is what we're gonna use to moisturize. Plus, I could eat this, y'all. So one of my first mentors said to me, if you can't eat it, then why are you putting it on your hair and skin? And I think due to conditioning and marketing, we don't take that seriously. And it's like, we're like, oh, I don't know why I have cancer. I don't know why I have this. And then we wind up panicking and scrambling. But what you're putting on your body that's going through your underarms, where the lymph nodes are right there, around your groin areas, another place of lymphatic drainage, which your lymphatic system, by the way, is the sewage system of the body. So we're putting a lot of toxins there, right? And a lot of the antiperspirants, right? Perspiration is a natural body function. Toxins can't get out. So think about that, right? Real simple. I like to think of things Grandma style. Real simple, common sense. Right, and you make the decision. I'm not here to tell grown folks what to do, especially those that are not paying me, and even then, that's limited. All right, so look at that. I love working with real food because it's so amazing. And last night, my sister and I, we put in a couple of rows of sweet peppers, and also some eggplant. Right, and I think it's so interesting. Sometimes I smile. I remember when I couldn't recognize the different plants. And so now I can recognize the leaves of the plants. So those 5 little pads of nopales are going to give us a nice amount. And this actually doesn't take that long. Let's say we've been on a few minutes of chit-chatting. Right, so here's the deal. You can take one of the body culinary challenges. So the challenge is If you're going to spend time on the internet, make sure that you're getting something back for the investment, the non-renewable resource of your time, your attention, and your focus, right? Because we're being affected subconsciously. Watching bombs, people polarized and arguing, it's affecting our nervous system, right? Which in turn will affect your food choices. All right, so here's our grated nopales. So look at all that slip when people are buying all these conditioners and they're thinking about slip. So whatever the cleanest water is that you have available, I'm just going to put some water in with it. So let's put some filtered water. You can determine how thick or thin you want it. I'm not putting that much water. And after you put the water in, I'm going to take it and just squish it through with my hands so you can see. All right, so come spend some time in the kitchen in la cocina. All right, so I could use the fancy blenders, but the texture or the slip comes out a lot better. You could also use this as a shampoo, right? The cleanser really gives your hair a deep massage. This is not going to strip your hair, right? Also, my first line of cleanliness is food and then circulation from my movement practice, right? I think it's interesting. We spend so much money on products, wigs, weaves, and makeup, and then don't give consideration to the different things that are drying the body out. All right, so I want a little bit more, and I'm going to let this sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to strain it, and whatever's left over from the pulp, I'm going to put into the compost over there, and I can put this in a squeeze bottle, and I can proceed to moisturize my hair. So I think I'll put a little bit more water, because as I let it sit, that's going to draw a little bit more of the mucilage out. This is probably going to moisturize. So I got all my little tools here in my hand tools. I got the fancy stuff, but I really enjoy the hand stuff because it's relaxing. It's a type of meditation. All right, so we're just going to squish it through. I'm going to put this to the side. We're going to get some, little stronger or more finer than cheesecloth. We're going to use a cotton bag because I find it's really good. So we're getting a nice little mucilage here. And do I worry about the green? No, I don't. This is also good for diabetes because it has a lot of soluble and insoluble fiber. The insoluble, kind of if you think of broccoli stalk or celery, are the pieces that you can't chew and break up. But interesting, the good bacteria inside of your gut likes and will feed off of and proliferate with insoluble fiber. And then the soluble fiber that's in here, kind of think about like a really gentle, fine bloom, helps to clean out your arteries and also can help to regulate your blood sugar. So all of this from something that you're growing inside of the yard. This feels really nice on your skin. So you're gonna think of moisture, right? And it's all water-based. Now we don't have preservatives in this, so I make small batches. This is not meant to last forever, right? But I can drink, which I will. I am going to drink a little bit of this. I don't mind the texture. And the rest is gonna go on my hair and skin. So let me get, let's see, we're going to strain this with. We can use the measuring cup, and I have also some muslin cheesecloth bag. So we're going to use a nice big colander, and I'm going to get one of my sturdy bags. So I have several different bags that I will use to strain things, and I want one that's really, really fine. And then we're going to milk, like we make our plant milks. And we're going to milk the nopales. We're going to milk the plants very, very gently. Right? So let's set this up to the side. Then we get into our conversation. So now we got something done. We didn't just spend a whole bunch of random time on the internet and didn't get anything done. That's not going to work. That's not how we're spending our time. It's already, we're going into, at least by the Greco-Roman calendar, 2024. So do you have time to waste like that? Okay, so we got to let the nopales sit for a little bit, and then we're going to strain it off. Easy breezy. And let's say we'll even put this bowl in here, so if any of it spills, that we can get the rest of that. How about that? So, yay! Let's have our ginger tea. All right, now we can get into our conversation, right? As we get ready to strain off our no polish. And again, we're having our ginger tea. Also, that Caribbean lime or Jamaican lime, I think it's green sometimes, and it's also sometimes it can be orange. So these have a tremendous amount of seeds that are orange on the inside. Yeah, so come spend time in the kitchen because that is how you learn. All right, so now we're gonna get to this conversation about locks. So much fun. This is Sunday, so I'm coming in the chat before I go into my classes. So a little update. Maybe this is week 5 or 6, and I'm letting some more of my locks join. I have very, very fine hair, so all of my locks are super duper. Everything is flat, and I'm okay with that. I don't put oil, and I'm in the garden a lot, so things will get caught in my hair. So I got to remember sometimes to put things over it. But anyway, I'm letting these 2 lock and another 2 over here. Look at this. I was in the garden late yesterday in the garden. All right, so, and I have these 2 over here that I'm allowing to join. So I think this is week 5 or 6. So I put a little piece of a cloth band on it, and I'm not twisting, I'm not doing anything. Sometimes when it's really hot, I rinse it more. I find that can help it join together quicker. I haven't been rinsing it that much. I just washed it. So I don't have a particular schedule. I listen to my hair. There have been times where I've washed it a lot just because it was so hot. But let's see, is it joining? So this is a couple of weeks. So I can still stick my finger through. But I would say it's meshing. That's with me doing nothing to it. So because my hair is very flat and fine and gets compressed easily, this is not tight at all. I want everything very, very loose. Now, you don't have to put this. This is just my experiment and maybe just to share. All right. That's it. And it's kind of close. I have an interesting color hair. I don't dye it or anything in the sun. It looks like it's reddish brown. But that's it. And this is how this one is going. So I can still stick my finger through it. So maybe another couple of weeks. This was the last one I let join. And I don't have actually that many locks because my hair is fine and dense. I believe this was the last one I let join. And this one joined together. I can't even believe how quickly it joined together. So I can use this as a benchmark. This is only a couple of months old. So I guess that means it's a decent amount of growth. But I actually don't follow it that much. I kind of forget about my hair, which is great, right? I'm comfortable. What tree was I under yesterday? When I don't cover my hair with a cap, all kinds. I get caught in the bushes all the time. But it feels like with fine hair, I can feel it's spongy, and I want it to have the support as it matures of the other hair. Because look how many locks this is. These are all going to break off, or I cut them off periodically. So that's how that is coming. That's it. What was it, yesterday or the day before? I went salsa dancing with the rancheros with live salsa music. So that was great. And what did I do? Did I put on a lot of makeup? No. I put 2 big old flowers, a pink one and a lavender one in my hair. And I put 2 hairpins right here. And I was feeling just as cute as ever. I really like myself. I did put on some mascara and a little bit of eyeliner and put a little cocoa butter on my cheeks and lips and just kept it moving. Greetings, Carolyn. So anyway, that's how the hair is going. So my hair is dry, but not brittle, right? It's not stripped. It's dry as in not wet, but it's very, very spongy. It doesn't pick up, a whole bunch of buildup from not having oil in it. So now it's been, I think, a couple of years with no oil in it. So this would be a Congo Nappy for me. It's for somebody very fine hair. This is probably like 4 locks. So I'm lucky now if I have 29, but they're all super flat and I'm fine with it. So nappy hair can be our greatest protection. Nappy, cottony, kinky. I'm not offended by dreadlocks. People can get very, into the etymology and can really be tripping over morning, saying am. I understand the difference with the words, and I'm very, very comfortable with dreadlocks. I don't claim Rasta, although I have Rastas in my family. I respect a lot of the tenets, but at this point in life, I'm not following anybody. I'm not doing it. I follow principles over people and personalities. But how can nappy hair be a blessing and a protection. So many different ways. First of all, on a basic mechanical in terms of this human suit, right? Here's the brain is underneath this precious skull. It's very, very porous, right? We have different types of therapies and patches that are allowing very powerful medicines to go into the bloodstream. So very, very simple. Anything that's going near the hair that is caustic is going to affect my brain. Now, why would different companies or whatever tell us that we would stop buying the products? You know, there's a lot of different back and forth online as to whether permanent relaxers, which is all of this is a play on words. Like no lie relaxers, okay. No lie relaxers. I remember distinctly the chemical burns from a no lie relaxer. No lie, you would think shouldn't burn, right? Because it's no lie. My scalp was burnt severely and I had scabs all over my whole scalp. So I don't need anyone to tell me. Perhaps you have a different experience. Rock out. But I'm crystal clear on no lie relaxers, right? And had I continuously put down, hey, the warning says do not use it if you are pregnant. So what is that telling you? Why can't I use it when I'm pregnant? I can use it if I'm not pregnant, but don't use it if you're pregnant, right? It's really for us to use our discernment and our common sense and not to be, I'm not telling y'all folks what to do. Take it, what resonates, for the rest, leave it. So it's up to us to be more discerning. This is a day and age where, I'm sure if I came on with, load the bust down, right? Loads of makeup or clergy, collar or a lab coat. As soon as we see these different things, we just give over our trust and we don't do a vetting process. But I invite you to tune into your own internal compass, your own guidance system. Different from the ego, because that's there too. That's meant to protect us, but that can be irrational. The ego can take out the host. But your essence, your own internal divine onboard common sense intelligence, if you dial into it, it's not going to, my litmus test, it's not going to put you in harm's way or put others in harm's way. That's how I can tell the difference between if it's my ego, we all have one, that part of our mental processing, right, is trying to protect us at all costs, even taking us out, right? Or if I'm listening to my own divine onboard intelligence, which the voice or the intuition gets drowned out amidst all of the loud noise and all the marketing coming at us from social media, which we're plugged into most of the day, even at work, right? So this nappy hair is a protection, right? Just allowing it to do what it does, not manipulating. I'm X-naying out on the toxic chemicals going directly to my brain. So this is the control center. This is the control center. So I'm X-naying on that. I'm not anti-makeup. You will decide for yourself on your journey the degree of makeup and expression and creativity you want to have. That's totally your choice. None of it is right or wrong. It depends on how you want to feel, what you're prioritizing. I prioritize health, which I think we're all at our most attractive when we're healthy and we have a degree of character and consideration. That's extremely attractive, right? Especially if you got some wisdom underneath your belt, right? Today, everyone's looking at celebrities, and these folks will show you with their behavior and their music that they really don't care about you, your well-being, right? Most of the music is encouraging you to put your body parts in harm's way, leaving permanent damage, right? So that's up to you. It is totally on you to use your common sense and to realize you can't see how people are living, right? I can tell you somebody that's been in the personal training industry for over 3 decades, that there are a lot of people you see online have 2, 3 trainers, several personal chefs, meal delivery service, if they're dieting, if they're binging or what, you can't steal this stuff. And so we're the signaling that's happening, you start relating to people as if you're living their same life. And that's not real. That's kind of the challenge with social media. Everything is so orchestrated and curated. We're so lulled. We're lulled into such a fantasy, right? Which is kind of like, I feel like it sedates us so that we can feel better about the realities of life. I don't like that and make that right or wrong. It is what it is. But again, only you can discern what it is that you need for yourself. So just sizing all the chemicals, many people may not want to go down the rabbit hole of what our hair does, right? I have an interesting color. Most people will probably dye this. You know, most people, the majority of people I've seen on YouTube, all have experienced extreme damage with dye. So I don't know, call me simple. Call me simple. But I'm an observer of patterns. If I see a consistent result and I run the math and the statistics and the odds, is it worth the risk for me? No. If my hairline is ever receding back here, you will see me, mademoiselle. I'm going to take my clippers and I'm going to shave it off, and I'll just rock a baldy, or I will rock some non-toxic henna. Why? Because especially at this season of life, I just don't think it is worth it to constantly be in, will say, oh, I love myself, I love myself. Again, not to shame anybody. How comfortable you are with yourself or not, that's where you are in your journey, not right or wrong. But that to me feels like an anxiety-ridden prison, to put a cap on, which I like to be able to breathe my skin and my hair, to put a cap on, right, tight. And then I got some glue. Where's that glue? I got some cement to fix it. So I'm gonna put the glue. I'm gonna put the glue on here, right? And then I'm gonna glue maybe a little piece so I can have a little bang in the front. And then I'm gluing on my skin. It's toxic. But you know, the companies will say it's, I don't know if they say it's safe. I don't know. But I'm gonna glue some here. I'm gonna glue it. I'm gonna glue this on my scalp. I'm gonna glue it. My brain is here. Right? Now we have information about traction alopecia. The pulling on the edges, the pulling. Did you get popped with a comb when you were a little girl? Keep still. This is trauma. But maybe that's not you. Trauma. We are going crazy from the trauma. I did not get to this stage of life to be in a prison where I am so desperate for validation. I'm human. I enjoy validation and compliments like anybody else. But I have some discernment and some experience and wisdom underneath my belt, and I'm going to use it. I did not get to this phase of life to be performative to the point of I'm going to damage myself and be walking around and feeling a way, right? Which I can't tell you, I've been in the fitness industry. So I know about a lot of surgeries, and also I've worked with lots of clients. Also, I've had malpractice lawyers as clients. So my eyes are trained. I didn't get to this phase of life to be a prisoner just so you could give somebody give me a full like, a thumbs up. And let me be clear, right? I'm crystal clear. I'm smart enough to know I don't know everything, but I'm crystal clear. Everybody, some people, this is not for everybody, but this is for me. It grows out of my head. This is how it grows. It's very clean, right? No oil, no nothing. This is how it grows. I'm an acceptance. That acceptance is actually a freedom. Now, because of popular culture, most people, I'm not going to get accolades. I'm not, and maybe one day I'll play in makeup sometime, but I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm intentional about being comfortable with the aging process. So on social media, people can come along, you know, with no avatar and start typing away. Ooh, you're ugly. Ooh, cringe, whatever. And it makes many of us feel a kind of way, if we're honest. If somebody is hurling insults, we can say that words don't affect us. That's not true. If we weren't affected, we wouldn't be cutting ourselves up and putting more silicone and who knows what these chemicals. We don't really question the chemicals we're putting in our body. That's scary. That is frightening. That is frightening. There's a tone. There's a tone of desperation. And when you start altering things, then it's the mindset. You start seeing something else wrong with you and something else wrong with you. And I got to fix this. The thing that you're trying to fix. There's a video in the community section called Fillers Are Not Your Friend. Just periodically I'll put this stuff. I don't want to dominate my channel with that. But sometimes, you know, I have other young flowers out there. I have nieces. I put this there just so people can do their research. You can make an informed decision rather than asking other people who you don't know for their opinion on the internet, who you don't know. You can't see their process. You can't tell how somebody really feels about themselves. Everybody is saying, I love myself. But if we take a look at our midsection, we take a look at our planet, we take a look at our children, it's not adding up. What do they say? It's not giving what it's supposed to have gave. The self-love is not giving what it's supposed to have gave, right? Because we would not be scrambling. We would not be playing Russian roulette with our body parts. We wouldn't be playing Russian roulette with the lives of future little small human beings, bringing them here, making no provisions for them, right? Wanting to have an experience of these children, but really not thinking of what these little human beings will need so that they can flourish and be creative, and not just giving food, clothing, and shelter and a little gold chain and a cute pair of little sneakers, but they grow out of those very quickly. We're not making provisions for what they will need to be sound, content, happy, creative human beings. The proof is in the pudding, right? The other day on my Instagram, and again, I don't post these things all the time, but it's because no one says anything, it's getting to a fever pitch. And I've had to come to acceptance that I don't know everything. I could be wrong, but I do want to share what my thoughts are sometimes on certain topics. I'm under no illusion. I am not Jesus Christ. I'm not here to save anybody, change anybody's mind. Mine tell you have to be vegan, vegetarian. That's on you. That's up to you. And there's a spectrum. During your life, you're probably going to change your food, with your religious beliefs. If you want children, don't want children, that's going to likely change. Wisdom, that's likely going to change and evolve as you have more life experience and you get more information. Distinction, though, the thing is, you don't want to permanently jack yourself up. You don't want to permanently mess yourself up. You don't want to permanently cause permanent scars, and also permanent scars that you can't see emotionally and mentally. That's the part the celebrities don't tell you about. That's the part the Instagram models don't tell you about, right? You know, the other day I saw, well, anyway, let me get to the first thing I saw. This little girl on Instagram, baby, pacifier still in the mouth. I don't know if this little girl is even 2 years old. And there was several, looked like 2 or 3 women. One of them looked just like her, beautiful in the face, features. And they were cutting, what do you call it? It's not even a lace front because it was covering the little baby, her whole head. It's right on Body-Culinary on the Instagram page. But in any event, she had the whole thing, and I think, did it like a glued wig, cut the thing out, plastered it on her head, and it had 2 puffs, I would call it Afro puffs, but the texture wasn't Afro puffy, right? So the baby hair and the slick looking like a perm, right? Like other hair. That's what they're plastering on her head, and it looked cute per se. She had 2 big puffs. This is a baby, but her hair underneath was a little kinky, coily, exquisite, unique Afro. That there was nothing wrong with her. Not only was there nothing wrong with her, that baby looked like a chocolate gem. Nobody has this DNA. Everybody has their own claim to fame. Nobody else has this unique DNA marker. And so it's interesting to see in the comments how many women were bigging up this behavior, right? Like, astounding. And it's interesting that we don't think long term, right? Again, when I say the undertone, we're not picking up. We're not honest. There's some kind of desperation. There's an anxiety that if you have to actually place this little baby, her scalp and her skin, in harm's way for her to look good for who? That's not even the baby. The baby's not even. She doesn't even have the consciousness next to that. She's looking around wide-eyed at the adults who are sucking on her pacifier, and they have just glued a full wig on her TWA, her Afro. This is an Afro. It's kinky, it's cottony. This is what it does. And so I say nappy hair is a protection. Why is it a protection, right? And again, I like compliments. Sometimes I'll just be vibing in the garden. I'll just shoot a shot because I'm just being creative with my hair. Accidental hairstyles. They're not really accidental. But I have found most hairstyles I've tried, they don't work for my hair because that's not what my hair is. That's not what my hair does. It's not dense like Valerie June. Shout out to Valerie June. It doesn't slick. It does not. It will never behave and all these different things I could try to force it to do, right? That has a feeling and a tone of forcing. So I can go on parade, and we all like to parade a little bit. around, and if you're trying to attract somebody, that's not bad or wrong. But when you take that stuff off and you still have to be with you, that's the issue. That's the issue. So with this nappy hair, you don't like it? I think that's fantastic. Is there still more stuff in the garden in my hair? You know why it's fantastic? Because if people only coming at you for your looks, your physical looks, not character, not a glow of health, then that filters people out. People identify themselves that are just coming to you superficially for what you look like. That's the whole conversation. It's only about what you look like. And we don't think past that. You know, I remember when I used to do competitions, I used to work at a gym, and I was really, really muscular, all natural, no drugs. But all I would hear, the first thing out of everybody's mouth was, "Oh, I want your arm. Oh, I want your butt." And I was like, after I was like, wow, I'm not in a meat market, a set of body parts. There's a spirit here that you're communicating with. There's a whole spirit. There are plenty of people in the fitness world that are very depressed, just like with models. But we don't, we get drunk. We get drunk off of the vanity. We get drunk off the vanity. We want to be in close proximity to it. I'm not immune. I'm not stupid. I'm not immune. That programming is there within me too. It's been ingrained. But I have enough sense to question the program, right? So even for me to come online, it does not mean I am not better. So before I get some of the black folks nice, the black men sometimes say, "Oh wow, you're so much better than the other women because you have natural hair." No, I'm not. Raw vegan doesn't necessarily say anything about your character, nor does natural hair. And I'm not here to be divisive, because that would be like saying if somebody in my family or this dear to me is 300 pounds, they have no value. Or if somebody has a perm or relaxing in hair, they don't have value. That's silly, right? But this is really about, if this resonates with you, feeling comfortable in your own hair and skin, that you have a spontaneous smile at the person you are, and you also enjoy your human suit, right? Are you going to be able to enjoy your human suit when you get past 35? If you ascribe to the narrative that you're done, you hit a wall, that's like all your value is in that little teeny window of when society says, you know, you're sleepable with in intimate relations. Is that all? Is that everything? And we're playing right into it, right? We don't even want to question it. Who wants to go down the rabbit hole of uncombed hair, right? There's a lot of messaging and signaling of what that means. But it is for you. It is up to you. You have the option to question these narratives. So being natural, for me, whatever that degree of that is, you know, for you, whether you want to go makeup, no makeup, how much, whatever, that's on you. But for you to look like yourself, and for people to only deal with you based on only your look, it helps to filter out a lot of ill intention. And the opposite extreme is also true. If somebody's just trying to pander you, right, and think that because you're natural, that you don't require upkeep, investment, or character, that they can be lazy because you're natural, because maybe your broke down production's poor roster, you know, all of these things you're able to pick up on the signaling. Even if there are other folks that look like me, I'm telling you from my personal experience, that may think that I give away all my services free, you know, from years of education because I'm Black and I've got nappy hair, right? You're able to discern more when people, sometimes when you're what people call ugly or nappy, you can discern more how people really feel about you and the superficial judgment. And we all, I think, have been exposed to this programming and are affected by it. But it's for each one of us to question it, right? And it can actually carry over and help you question if you're only turning up your nose or skinning up your nose, right? Projecting how you feel about somebody only based on their weight or their physical appearance and not their character. There is a difference. So perhaps having nappy hair and sometimes looking like yourself, little experiment. And the second part of this video I want to talk about is perhaps how going makeup free can potentially save your life, especially when it comes to your decision making, right? Because our decision making is coming from a whole set of beliefs and ideas that we have, right? A lot of us, you know, people contact me about fitness or nutrition plans. You know, there have been some women, you know, some of my religious ladies, that they want their daughters to get in order so they can, you know, get married and look the best for getting in their wedding dresses, right? But most people just want the recipe and don't want to change the mindset. I'm giving you. This is why the results don't last, and we will forever be in the whole straw. That's a little good African American vernacular. The whole straw. You'll forever be pimped out by companies, right? Because if you don't get clear on the principles for being quote unquote fit or having a healthy natural body weight without Ozempic and all these other chemicals which are going to have a negative effect on your body. I'm just saying, right? Look at Ozempic face, look it up, right? But all of these different artificial modalities and being very superficial, most people don't have the mindset for fitness, right? And if you don't understand the undertone of the mindset that it takes, then you'll forever be jumping around to different cleansing programs and fasting from a place of panic, from a place of anxiety, from a place of fear. That's why it doesn't work. Do you ever in your quiet moments sit and are reflective and ask what's missing? Is there something I'm not addressing? You know, that could be very fearful to address and sit with your ego like that. Not to observe it. To observe it. Ooh, that's a big one. And we underestimate it. But how you really feel about yourself in your quiet moments when you're not on social media, when people are not giving you a whole bunch of compliments. Can you admit if you're like, if you ever pass a man, be like, ooh, like pause and catch the tone of you you saw that someone doing that to someone else, like, ooh, like, wow, why are you judging her? Or would you do that to your child? Yet it's so subtle. These are the types of feelings we have about ourselves and our natural skin. So periodically taking that stuff off, not saying you should do it, but taking that stuff off periodically so you can become comfortable in your skin, comfortable with your eyebrows, comfortable with your eyelashes, comfortable with your hair. Oh my gosh. Maybe perhaps trade off some of that time for your fitness. Give me fitness any day over makeup. If I have a choice between fitness and makeup and weave, if there's an emergency, I don't know if you're paying attention to the world climate, in an emergency, let me know respectfully in the comments. In an emergency, and your to-go bag, if you know what a to-go bag is, right? Your knapsack that you have packed up for you and your family members in emergency. What's going in your to-go bag? Are you going to put some different seeds and herbs or something that you can plant? Do you have alcohol, wipes, your Swiss pocket knife? Do you have a flare, something to make a fire? Are you carrying your synthetic hair pieces? Many of them that have been taken from women that had in India that have given up. I asked me to go to ashram a long time. You can also research this. Many women that have given up their hair for religious purposes to cleanse, right? And usually, you know, melanated folk were very into energy. They want to get rid of this stuff off of their body, whatever they're going through in life, and we purchase it at a premium. I'm not making it bad or wrong. Something to reflect on, right? So it's like the social media reinforces us being dishonest, and beauty is a tool because we are affected. People treat us differently. If I come up in here, little get up and outfit and makeup, people will treat you differently. Yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. Yet, how are you treating yourself? That's the most important thing. Are you ignoring your health? Are you not prioritizing with your actions? Does your love for yourself show up in what you're putting into your body, whether that's other people's body parts or food that is tasty? It's so tasty in your mouth, yet it's drying your body out, destroying your vitality, destroying your organs, compromising your brain function. It's so simple. It's right in front of our face, and we don't want to think. We want to think we're so more advanced than the animals. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, right? This nappy can be a protection to help you really weed out how people really feel about you, right? How do you feel about other people? Something for us to reflect, right? It works both ways. Are we just judging folks only on, they're only valuable because of their looks and what's in their closet? That is absolutely ridiculous, because in an emergency, right? Where are you on a socioeconomic totem pole? In an emergency, who has your back? I see things happen all the time in the States. And we're the climate, everybody's pull out their cell phone and watch. Who's protecting you? Are you fit? Are your homies fit? What are you waiting for? Kwanzaa? Hanukkah? We're in a lot of group denial, and it's not serving us. It is not serving us. Those 3 little lifestyle practices are leveraged like nobody's business. You want confidence? You want confidence? I'm not a dude, not pretending to be a dude. But consequences, predators respond to consequences. Can you kick, run, jump, punch? Are you a sitting duck when it comes to your fitness? Can you get over a fence? Can you drag a family member out? Can you use your own body weight, to drag out of a fire? Again, in an important life situation, what are you going back to get? In my travels, I've seen young women in different parts of the world, and you can see some people that look like, they're impoverished or they're going through a hard time, and you will always find us at the beauty supply store. We'll take our last money. What's the mentality? Do you question that? What's going on there? What's going on? So if we really want to think that we're not affected by the messaging and the music, that we're not affected by the messaging and the conditioning and R&B and love song, and I love music, but if we really want to continue to be in denial that we're not affected, then we're going to get what we got. I'm not going to go on and on because I have other classes. So let's get back into this no polish. You can always let me know what you think respectfully in the chat. So here's our no polish gel. It's been sitting for a few minutes. So now look at that. It has a lot of slip, right? And this is something I just have from in the yard. So we're going to put it in here and we're going to strain it into the measuring cup. And you're going to milk the plant. So it has a lot of slip. All the slip we hear about in all of these products, but there's a whole clean beauty movement. But if you were really to research, a lot of the things that are supposed to be clean beauty have so much time, they just play word semantics, word salad. And a lot of the ingredients are still very, very toxic. So again, who really is checking for you and really caring about you? That's you. That's going to be you. All right, so let's strain it out. Hold on. A lot of water still in here. I don't want so much of the water. I want more of the gel. All right, here we go. So you can see all of that nice slip. So if I was to use the basic cheesecloth, the holes would be too big, right? So I get chunks of the nopales coming out into my gel. So that's just from what I pulled in the yard. So if they're selling this, which I wouldn't be surprised, right? If it's popular, start selling this inside the store, they're going to put so many preservatives with this, right? Because fruits and vegetables, they don't have preservatives. They don't have a long shelf life, so they don't get the commercial airplay. It's the products. It's all the processed stuff that needs the commercial for you to buy it. The stuff that's sitting in the center of the market. But this you can pull. You can luxuriate with things that you're pulling right from your own yard. Right from your own yard. And whatever's left, I'm going to put into the compost. So this feels so nice on my hand. And I can also put this on my face. It doesn't have the bitterness of aloe. So I like this just as much as aloe. I might like this a little bit more than aloe. So this is one of my favorite things, is the nopales. And I find this is relaxing. So inside BODYCULINARY Academy, this is what we're doing. For the longest time, I've always thought of when people are asking for recipes of this and that, this is bigger than a recipe for me. Why? Because a lot of values, a lot of the wisdom that perhaps could save a lot of young women and men from making very poor decisions that alter your life, a lot of those values of wisdom are usually transmitted when young men are spending time with their fathers, usually on a project, cutting a tree, cleaning the car, doing these things on a regular basis. For me, it's been spending time in the kitchen with my grandma, Lou. So in Body Culinary Academy, there will be some things that are co-ed, but also Flower Fit in Body of Culinary Academy is where we're going to be going past the recipes to the wisdom and the values, core values, right? Whatever your religion is your BI bubble business. But the core values that you can apply across the board, they apply to health and fitness. So you can organize in your brain and get really clear. Once you get clear, nobody can pay you to eat junk, right? But that's a process of challenging your belief systems that have you make decisions that put yourself in harm's way because you're following somebody's advice, following a celebrity, following a pastor who are flawed humans just as well, right? You want to tune into, or it would benefit you. I'm going to tell you what to do. It would benefit you to tune into your own divine onboard intelligence. And a lot of time it's going to be challenged by the trauma operating as your ego, trying to protect itself. But out of fear, a lot of times out of fear, we can still make poor decisions, right? So I think I got a good amount of gel. There has a green hue, but we don't mind. So I can apply this to my hair, my scalp. I can drink a little bit of it, which I'm going to do. And the base that's left, all of this pulp, I'm going to put inside the compost. So, not as mucilage as okra, but kind of feels similar. So that's all the pulp. All right, so we have our gel, right? And I'm going to drink some because you'll hear a lot of folks talk about, I still have my ginger tea here, about how Nopales is good for diabetes. You hear people just throw these terms out and look on the internet and say, oh, this is good for this is good for that. But people don't necessarily really implement it into their consumption. And not everything is meant to be consumed because there's some plants that are raw that can have you throwing up. Ask me how I know. So I'm going to drink a little bit of the gel. Right. And I take this any day over sticking myself with a needle. It doesn't even have an unpleasant taste. It actually has a pleasant taste. It's not bitter like the aloe. But this tastes fresh. Also very soothing for the intestines. And I'm going to take some out. I'm going to put some into a little bowl. Later I'll put some into a little squeeze bottle and moisturize my hair. So I'll take a little bit and then I'll save some. That's a decent amount. That's a nice little amount of gel. Right, so if I put this in a squeeze bottle, they charge you how much for these little teeny bottles of oil and gel. So again, I am oil free. Have been for a while. Hold on, let me get the ginger tea. Let me know what's your tea of the day. And no, I'm not sweetening my tea. I can't believe I don't sweeten my tea. One time I couldn't have imagined myself having tea without sweetener. So I'm going to put a little moisture inside my hair with the Nopales gel, right? And again, when I'm ready to just rinse my hair, sometimes I rinse my hair when it's very hot. Because I don't have a lot of buildup, I don't need a whole lot of shampoo. This is like a water-based gel, and we'll just rinse out, right? And this moisture and massage will help this just to mesh a little bit because I'm not twisting. The last time I let them join, it took about 2 months for this one over here to be thoroughly joined. Where I was like, okay, I can't pull this apart. So I have a couple of videos on this channel. How long will it take your hair to lock? So I like this spongy. I like the sponginess of it. It just feels very clean. It's extremely light, which I like, especially being that I exercise a lot, and it feels good. So I'm gonna take some of the gel, the Giselle. I'm gonna moisturize my hair. Put it right like this. Now I do have the type of hair. I do have the type of hair where moisture will sit right on top of my hair. I forget if it's high porosity, low porosity, but it will sit right on top. So I just have to massage it in, which feels really, really nice. And if I get my moisture, or I can put this in a little squeeze bottle, but I'm just moving a little fast right now. And I will just gently smooth it onto my hair. And it gives moisture, but it's not heavy. There's no chemicals, right? I just made it just right here. So I've made it, I think, several times on this channel, but oh my gosh, that feels so good. So I don't use black styling gel, all of that stuff. I feel like it's set free. I'm not interested. Sometimes people will make recommendations. Why don't you try this and that? To be quite honest, I'm not interested in any of those things because I found it very overwhelming and stressful. Being a product junkie, being a junkie to any of this stuff out here, even the internet, the way it affects your nervous system, and I talk about this a lot, it's overwhelming. The amount of comparing yourself with the anxiety. I have to have this. I got to get that. You're reading, people are trying things out and they're reading the recommendations of what the product is supposed to do on the back of the label. It just feels like it feels like insanity to me. It's very, very overwhelming, and I'm prioritizing my mental and emotional health. So I think that is why many people decide to go minimalist. You can be minimalist or maximalist in several areas. So I prioritize health and ease and comfort. I think we have so much stuff that is signaling us to secrete a lot of cortisol. It's very, very stressful, psychologically stressful. And it makes sense why so many of us are medicating and self-medicating with food, substances masquerading as food, alcohol, and drugs. Everybody is telling you here, passing you the joint, not knocking you if that's what you do. But if you think about what we're sharing with each other, we're sharing our coping mechanisms, right? I don't want anything that's going to make me weaker. I don't want anything that's going to compromise my brain or leave a whole lot of toxic stuff behind. Call me simple. It just doesn't make sense to me. If it's not making me strong in my decision making, I'm like, where are those folks at that have that thought process? I don't want anything that's going to make me weak and weaken my resolve, have me hoping, begging, and pleading. But if my hoping, begging, and pleading is not adding up with me getting into consistent action, then I'm lying to myself. It's simple. It's simple, but not easy. And so there's an appetite. I'm in full acceptance that all of us, myself to a different degree. That's why I strive to be humble and mindful. But we are being lulled and enticed to sedate. Sedating doesn't make me more mentally resilient. It doesn't make me stronger. It doesn't give me mental toughness. It doesn't give me flexibility. It's not serving me. It's not a good investment. So I'm very mindful of somebody selling me products that are going to keep me on a whole stroke, right? That don't entice me to use critical thinking, right? That are just triggering my emotions or triggering my fears, right? Spoken about the 6 basic fears on this channel: fear of old age, death, illness, loss of love and never finding love, illness, poverty, death, criticism, probably one more in there. But those are the basic human fears, and they're being triggered all the time. It takes something to think for yourself. Many of us, we don't want to think for ourselves. I can dig it. I understand. I get it. It's a way of sedating ourselves. And so you can sedate yourself. It feels better. But I was also reflecting this morning. Like, wow. My stomach felt so free of food, and I'm not into the eating disorder thing because I like to eat over here. But I was thinking, like, it seems like it feels so good to indulge and overindulge in eating, and whether that's raw pistachios or cashews or whatever your chips and things. I used to be a potato chip addict and junk food addict. But it does not feel good to be food drunk. That does not feel good. That does not make me feel empowered. That does not make me feel strong. That's always a regret. And regrets like that from things you're inflicting on yourself, they affect your esteem, right? Where are you encouraged to be honest with yourself? That's why I say I'm humbled by how much we follow. Jamaicans would say follow fashion. How much we follow and we mimic. And we're affected by the songs, the things that we're repeating, watching these housewives shows and of women fighting each other, and ha ha ha, so entertaining. It desensitizes you to use your judgment. And different circles that I move in, the conversations are totally different. I am wary. I am suspicious of anyone. Well, I'm not for the abuse, and I don't think it's helpful to allow anybody to abuse. I'm not here for verbal abuse. I don't care if you're black, white, or vegan. Nah, I'm not buying it. Whatever your religion is, I don't care. I'm not. I know abuse and verbal abuse when I feel it, but also folks that tell you good things about your bad habits or that encourage you to not critically think, or really someone that when you're not encouraged to take accountability, that is a red flag. Oh, I wish I had known that 30 something years ago. I don't trust folks that want to have a party with not taking accountability, or I don't have to pay. It's like the commercials that tell you you can eat all that you want and don't count calories, you can still lose weight. Okay, right. And more than 70% of the population is unhealthily overweight. Okay. Why are we so trusting? Why? I think part of why we're so trusting is because we don't want to take accountability. We don't want to give up our pacifiers. Simple but not easy. Now this feels really nice. So you can see the moisture, or it's still water based, right? Using up that gel. My hair sucks it in, but it's not heavy at all. So even though it has a slight green tint to it, my hair is not green. So I'll just take it and smooth it onto my hair, and it gives me a little moisture, nothing heavy at all. And that's an easy breezy. This whole little thing of water-based gel from what I pulled out of my yard. Be done in a second. It feels really, really nice, and it's light. It actually smells fresh. And so see, we're going to spend our time on the internet. We're going to get something out of it. So also today, well, I have a class after this, but I'm coaching for whole fresh living foods and unprocessed foods as a lifestyle and fitness. Is at 2 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time. Somebody just sent me an application for Flower Fit. So if you're looking, you can find that in the About section. Follow the links. I like to go through and see who people are. If you don't have an avatar, you can't be identified, I leave it right there. Healthy boundaries. I don't give two cookies about social media or whatever. My standard is healthy boundaries. I need to know who you are, male, female, and everything in between, right? So respectful and safety is number one. I'm not prioritizing my mental, emotional safety for anybody, period. So all I can say, make sure you're identifiable, that your email and your avatar, you can be identified so I know who I'm dealing with. And you can send a link to the private Discord. There's a private Discord and a Zoom link. If you want to do the full training, which is 5 a.m. every morning. Friday is a community class by donation. 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. Right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is a community class. I will circulate the warm-up portion, which is like a workout in and of itself, every day. And by the way, natural bodies, they matter. You can play and make, you can do all that stuff. But it's really about being comfortable in your own skin. And I encourage you to prioritize health, and your own character for you over an ever-moving goalpost of beauty that somebody's making up as they go along. People trying to shame you for your weight, your skin color, your dark circles, your hyperpigmentation. That your health, that's for you, right? But who are we to be shaming somebody over where they are in their life and how their body's expression? How do you treat me? That's what I care about. How are you treating me? Are you reciprocal in your relationships? That's all that really matters to me over here, right? Is how you treat me and your character. Then, secondarily, how you treat children, how you treat the planet. Do you have healthy boundaries? Can you respect when somebody tells you no? That says everything. All right, so that's it. Dun, dun, dun. Feels light, feels moisturized. I can just pat that in. So yes, there's a little bit of length. I periodically will cut off these edges, or they will break off. A lot of times I let them break off. But every now and then I go through this thing, I just wake up, I'm going to pick the scissors and start cutting. So this is very different from these little teeny edges. I have to be very careful with different types of bands and things because my hair is very, very delicate. And my hair can't take it. So when the body's showing you something, just like when people are showing you something to question in your quiet reflection, why are you ignoring what is being shown to you? for lack of boundaries is being shown. If somebody shows you that they're reckless with their body parts, what do you think they're going to do for you? Somebody's really not going to treat you better than they're treating themselves. And if they do, you know, I'll keep your eyes peeled, right? So certain narratives are being reinforced and we are affected, if you want to be honest about it or not. So that's moisture. That's our little chit chat at Sunday time today. You're very welcome to chime in. Let me know. Have you tried nopales yet? There's several videos on this channel about nopales. If you're interested in coming into the kitchen with me for whole, fresh living foods and fitness and Body Culinary Academy, finally getting your garden up and running. I don't know if y'all paying attention. Are y'all paying attention? Because cilantro, I used to pay $5 or $6 a pound for. In recent months, the price got as high as $30 a pound. Are y'all paying it? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not everybody's eating fresh cilantro. The parsley has jumped up. Tomatoes, what I would pay $1.50 for, is $6 to $8. So you need somebody to convince you to start your garden. Do you need a guru or a cult to tell you to start eating fruits and vegetables? I don't know. Hey, I don't know. I'm keeping it simple over here. I'm keeping it real simple. So this is what we're doing. Body Culinary in the garden, starting your garden. For those people that are part of Flower Fit, I go through periodically and I will purge, right? Or I stop accepting at a certain point because I really need to know who people are. I keep saying that I prioritize. I need to be crystal clear on who is in that private Discord. The private Discord, I can bump people out, which is great. So there's a bit more of a vetting process. You can't vet and screen as much here on social media. So we're keeping it positive and proactive, but we're not being so positive that we have toxic positivity and we can't call a spade a spade. So if you want to come spend some time and learn how to do corrective exercise, right? You can totally change your body right from your little apartment, house, wherever you pay rent or mortgage. You have enough space for a mat. You have enough space to administer not just exercise. I invite you to consider deep therapy to yourself. Deep therapy, right? What's going on up here, as well as the nice internal shot of dopamine and feel-good drugs from your own body. The drugs that your own body can produce from a movement practice is so much more significant and powerful and sustainable than external drugs. I wish more people knew. It's like right underneath our nose. But the things that we're being encouraged to do are keeping us weak, you know? So send me also one positive vibrations. Let me bounce out of here. I'm going to be in the garden again. If you're interested, I will be doing more a la carte events inside Body Culinary Academy. So feel free to drop me a message if you're interested at info@body-culinary.com. Somebody was asking if I'm going to be doing something for the new year. So we did have a retreat last year. There will be one coming up in January. I'll be doing with my sister in Central America. But not everybody can travel. We did have a cocoon retreat that is the replay is available on the website, and I will be doing more things. If you can't subscribe or you can't come to visit me, then I'll be doing things that are more a la carte. So please reach out to me if you have questions, right? If you're interested in, because here I'm clear, fruits and vegetables, starting your garden and upgrading your eating. I don't care what your label is, that's on you. If you're about the garden, not just for food security, but also it is deep therapy. It is also really, it triggers your nervous system in reverse. This is something not to merely intellectualize, it's something to be experienced, right? And then your daily personal movement practice, right? Many people are not sustainable because they don't have a coach, or there's a long learning curve, or they injure themselves, or they're putting in hours and hours where that's not necessarily efficient. So you can, again, dramatically change your body. Those are the pillars. That's what the focus is over here. And if you're also interested in a project that I have for Afro, or sometimes people are asking for my feedback. I'm not a technologist, a specialist in hair care, though I am somebody with very fine, kinky, cottony, Afro textured hair. So if you want my feedback or some guidance as to what I'm doing, again, hit me up at info@body-culinary.com on social media. inviting you to create a great day on purpose, simply because you said so. Get some sleep for the movement practice, because I like to get into action. I only want to come together around activities, right? Because it's easy to become to trauma bond. I want to bond around we sweating together. Then I'm getting something back, right? That's the only bond I want. You know, you're growing something, you figured out some problems or challenges in your garden. That's when I'm gonna come together. And when we share the bananas and the plantains that I've grown, I just planted, put in 20 new small trees in a certain area. That's what I want to do. But it's not just about the superficial. It's decision making, securing yourself into your future. Are you thinking about your future here? Why these songs got you playing Russian roulette with your body parts? So I'm not here to tell grown folks what to do. What time does your movement practice start? It's always 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The warm-up is on the YouTube. I still have quite a few videos up. Those eventually will be going private, because I just find that people have other interests. So I don't want to squander the energy. I do not want to squander the energy that has been poured into me, that I've poured into myself. So there's still quite a few 5 a.m. workouts. The movement practice and the first part of it in and of itself is a workout. So we get down for the crown. There's several women in their 50s who were not fit before that have dramatically changed their body from your own little apartment. So you don't have to get up, change your clothes, go to the gym, and you learn a lot. And it's also community. But again, come together around a focus and an activity. And lots of things you can do with your time. If you really want to know what you're serious about or what people call their religion, to me, your religion is not what you say. Your religion is what you do. So if I was to look at your checkbook, and if I was to look at your calendar and to do an accurate accounting, that is what you believe. So I like to keep things real simple. So 4 a.m. Different parts of the year when it's not daylight savings time, I'm up before all of you. So I'm usually at 3 or 2 o'clock in the morning where I am. So I know how to get up early, because most of the stuff we're spending our time on is not giving, for me, let me not talk about y'all, it's not giving me enough back for my investment. So this lifestyle practice, I'm prioritizing where I'm spending my time. I must have reciprocal relationships. You get to decide what that standard is for you. What's the most important? So that's why I say I've decided to take a lot off the table. Make a decision around being a product junkie, off the table. That's more money and time for the garden and gardens and seeds and stuff, and travel, new experiences, right? All of that external validation online, I could care less. I don't give two hootie patoots about a whole bunch of products. I have one shampoo that I would use periodically that's diluted, and I don't want to be dependent on that. It's not my priority. My well-being, my safety, my mental emotional health, my movement practice, and my play, that's important. You know, I like clothes. I'll take the vintage fashion. I spent so much money on clothes that went in the garbage. Are you securing yourself into the future? Many of us are living in storage boxes full of stuff. You can't even travel. If you wanted to, then we get older. You can't travel. Some of us are so sick. We can't travel without our medications. That's crazy. I ain't telling no grown folks what to do. Create a great day on purpose, and I will see y'all soon. Like, comment respectfully, and subscribe. See you on TikTok, Instagram, and all that jazz. info@Body-Culinary, and get on the mailing list, because that's where I'll be sending out notifications, right? And a lot of the a la carte, if people can't do memberships, then you could just come. You don't have to commit to anything and just take a class.